my emotional intelligence has grown over the past 18 months that more than the previous 26 years of my life. Like, I've been put in so many hard situations, and you just you got to stick it out, represent your client's best interest. That is your job in the contract, and have fun with it.
This is the Agent Goldmine, where you'll find real talk, shit talk, and ambition. We're here to build real businesses and be more than your average agent. We want to know what the killers are actually doing within their businesses, the reality of it, all tactical, no fluff. So we're here to find out. Please share and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Agent Goldmine. Today, we are so stoked to have John Holzer on the show. His energy is out the roof. And John, oh my God. I'm going to give a little quick intro, okay? So John is a buddy of mine. I met him at the Charlotte Pints and Properties. And so he works the Charlotte and the surrounding areas, those markets. And he's proudly labeled himself as a road warrior, aka he will go anywhere for that deal. He's been an agent for 18 months, so a year and a half now, and has closed 40 deals and 14 million in volume. And he's a part of the Stephen Cooley real estate team, which for those of you who don't know, this is like if you have like a Mark Spain in your area, or basically when you drive around your city, if you see the face of like a real estate dude on all of the billboards, like that is like what I drive around and see Stephen Cooley there. His marketing is like everywhere, really cool. And so I'm really excited to dig into the perspective of like joining a traditional team and just getting to hang out with you, John. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited. We've been planning this for a really long time. So to finally get together and be able to do it is so cool. Yeah.
For those that don't know, which is everyone right now, we had a last minute cancellation and you came in, saved the day. You got all of your homework done in time, which we will have guests scheduled out like months in advance, right? And they don't get their homework done in time. So I am loving you already, John. Thanks for coming on the show. Why real estate? Why did you become a realtor?
Yeah, so before real estate, I was doing spray foam insulation with my dad. So graduated from UNC Charlotte 2018, moved to Wilmington for 2 years. I was doing that. Really just decided to take a shot on myself and moved back to the Charlotte market. And it was either going to be solar sales or real estate. I took some shots with some solar companies. I mean, I see myself still, and at the time I saw myself as an investor. Like, I really wanted to get into investing regardless of what I did. So took a shot with some solar companies, just outbound, like, hey, are you guys hiring? Sent some video text to some different owners, and nothing really panned out. And meanwhile, I just got my real estate license, and once I was fully licensed, just jumped right in it.
And did you know, like out the gate, like why did you pick a traditional team over another brokerage? Why the Stephen Cooley team?
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, I interviewed with Keller Williams a month prior to getting my license. They told me, hey, go ahead, start calling your friends, families, your family's friends, and your family's, call everybody essentially you are connected to and let them know that you're getting into real estate, to start building anticipation. Meanwhile, a month later, I get my real estate license. I knew I wanted to interview with Stephen just because of all of his billboards in the greater Charlotte market. And then so the day after I got licensed, I went in, had an interview with him. He essentially let me know what they were doing, how they were getting leads. And he let me know, essentially, your phone will be ringing as soon as we get you onboarded. So it was just a business decision for me to join him because of that lead flow, just to set myself up to sell out of the gate.
Dude, so curious about what the lead flow is. And side note, real quick, I think it's super smart, the marketing that he has everywhere and the impact that it was having on new agents. Like it impacts me every time I drive anywhere, and it clearly like impacted you. And that's like the power of marketing, and just like, you can't overmarket in this industry. So John, what is he doing? What did he tell you that he was doing to bring those leads into their office?
I mean, obviously the billboards, right? The same reason that I walked into his office to begin with. Online advertising, all of his listings. So the call time is very valuable there. And actually one of my first closings with him was, so call time is structured in 3 shifts. So 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6. And when I first started, I would go into the office and take all of the calls up until 9 o'clock. And one of my first closings was actually this woman from Illinois that called in about one of the listings. I went and showed her, the call came in at like 8:56, like 4 minutes before call time started. I went and showed her the property virtually at like 10 o'clock, and we were under contract at 2. And it was like a 550 price point. It was really sweet. But, and then other than that, Zillow, we were one of Zillow's main teams. So Zillow has actually been a quarter of my closings. I've had 10 closings via Zillow.
Okay, makes sense. So they're out there. The Stephen Cooley team is doing online ads. They have the billboards, there's Zillow, and then the mass amount of listings is the reason why people are calling in, because they see the number on the sign. And then is that what the call time is? Is that like an agent who is like manning the phone?
Exactly, 100%.
Okay, gotcha. So as a new agent, you are onboarded and they tell you to man the phone and take it away. And basically like the leads are inbound and then you take it from the sales process all the way through the close. Actually, you tell me, John, what happens?
Yeah, 100%. So, and actually another huge benefit of joining the team structure rather than going individual out of the gate is the back end support, right? Like the amount of trouble I would have gotten myself in if I would have went solo, like no help, no mentorship, which of course I don't know what that would have looked like if I did that. But man, that I would have got myself into some serious trouble. Like my transaction coordinators through Stephen have actually, saved my butt and been a saving grace for me. And it just helped me provide a really great experience for my buyers, especially starting out. So, I'm the one that shows the houses. We don't have any showing agents, anything like that. I do show the houses. I do represent the clients as far as making offers and doing negotiations. And then once we're under contract, that goes to that transaction coordinator. So I'm still the main point of contact, and I love to be hands-on. And I think it's really crucial with just starting out too, is that you do have to provide a next level of customer service, to learn the industry and learn the process, but B, just to give that experience to your clients. And then, so transaction coordinator sees it all the way to close. I'll do the final walkthrough and then go to the closing too.
Thank you for listening. Out of respect for your time, we want to make this show as valuable as possible for you. So if you have any feedback on how we can improve, please let us know. DM us at Allie the Agent and The Shelby Show.
Yeah. So I know a bunch of people who are on traditional teams who don't close 40 in their first year and a half. So what do you think are the factors that set you apart, like personally, than the agents who I'm sure, and we don't need to talk about other agents in your office, but like I've seen a lot of teams and, I know that the 40 in the first year and a half is abnormal. So tell us about what you feel are the qualities that set you apart.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, being available is the first thing. Like, somebody actually just told me this morning, like, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I just had a client last week through Zillow, picked up the phone, called. They were standing outside of the house. It was like 2:00. They requested the appointment for 6 because they didn't assume anybody could, get their together and show them the house immediately. But I was able to do that, right? So just getting up, showing up, being excited. Like, I believe that buying a house is such this like magical thing, honestly, as far as, I'm helping sellers now that have just a ridiculous amount of equity in a short 3-year timeline. And so it's a true wealth builder. I'm a huge home ownership advocate. And so just having that excitement about the process, really appreciating people's time, right? Like if I'm going to meet you at a house, like I should be seen as the expert, and I'm going to position myself in that way. I'm going to do my research, let you know, okay, this is why this house is priced this way. This is what I think of the price. And also just bring those MLS sheets with me, make sure they have all the information they need to make an educated decision. So, you know, I've met many more than 40 people in this year and a half time frame, right? Like I haven't won everybody over, but you just show up and you're excited about it and look out for people's best interests. It's worked out. It works out.
That always helps, like especially if you're, when you want the best for them, they will pick up on that. They will realize that versus someone else who's just trying to get a quick commission or not so quick commission. How do you like establish who you're going to help, if that makes sense, or what kind of expectations do you put in place when it comes to specifically for like pre-approvals or pre-quals? Or are they calling saying, hey, I'm outside, and you have no idea if they're qualified to buy it and you're meeting them at the house? What does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you do try to like dig a little bit of information from them up front, right? Because you or I could pick up the phone and call through Zillow right now and meet somebody at a house. So there's a lot of, and just real estate as a whole, like when you meet somebody, like a lot of people do not care that you've invested a lot of time and gone out of your way. Like they still will decide on their own, like, oh, I'm going to use my cousin that's a realtor, and just drop communication altogether. So really, I mean, I try to, if I'm available and I'm working, I'm a full-time real estate agent. So I'm not going to be overly picky with the people that I will go out and show a house to. Now, once I do show them a home, I try to set the expectations of doing business together in the future. And that would be kind of my best take on that.
Ooh, how do you set those expectations? I called you, we're at a showing and we're wrapping up for the day and I'm about to head out and I'm like, yo, thanks so much for your time. What is the conversation that you have with them to help manage expectations?
Really, that happens before you go into the house. So because when somebody calls and the house is the product and you're just the person opening the door, once you open the door, it's almost like you're no longer needed. So you kind of have to take that time to like stop them, and get in their way. They're looking at the house and you're kind of like, hey, over here. I'm John Holzer. I'm with Stephen Cooley Real Estate. We're the number one team here in the greater Charlotte area. I am a buyer's representative, so I'm hired to represent your best interest. I'm a top 5 agent on the number one team in this greater Charlotte market. And really, I'm prepared to fight for you, find you the right house. It doesn't have to be this one. A lot of Zillow buyers or buyers as a whole, they're not educated on how representation goes. So they'll call through Zillow and they'll say, hey, is this the only house that you have? They just assume that that's the only house that you can show them, that you can't show them any house on the market. So really setting that expectation, like I have access to everything and like I'm ready to go. Like let's play ball too, So I'm also trying to create an experience where like let's have a good time. Like this is supposed to be a positive process and experience for you guys. And really, you need me. If you want to find that right house, it might not be this one, but if it's another one or whatever the case scenario is, like, I can really put you in the best scenario to reach that goal.
And then as you're going through the house, can you lead us through the appointment actually? So I just got out of my car. I'm a Zillow lead and I'm meeting this guy who I just clicked on his face on the internet. I don't really know. You just gave me the whole, don't look at the house, look in my eyes, bro. You gave me that rundown. And then now what?
Yeah, so I'll let them inside. I'll give them the sheets that I have, like the property disclosures and the MLS sheet. I'll even go through it myself. I'll hit them with the quick facts, ask them if they have any questions, and then really it's hey, you go about seeing the house. I'm here if you have any questions, right? My sister, when I was getting into real estate, she had just bought a house, and I asked her, hey, what was that experience like with that agent? And she said it was weird. He would close them into rooms and like make the conversation about him. Like I want you guys to see the house and I want you to know that I'm here to answer any questions that you have. I'm also taking notes based off what you say, right? I want to know what's important to you, what you do like, what you don't like, just so I'm prepared to find that next house if it's not this one.
Okay. And so when they call you off the Zillow, they're trying to see one property, right? So you hadn't already gone through like, what are you looking for? Beds, baths, like set up the listing cart. Like you haven't done that yet, right?
Correct. Yeah. And that's part of that initial conversation, trying to get an idea. Okay. Why did you call about this house? And okay, do you have more time to maybe see another? And sometimes they already do have a couple picked out, but yeah, hey, why did you call this one? And hey, if I could find you a couple others like this, do you have time to see maybe one or two more while we're out and looking at this one?
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing that you said quickly that I liked is that you are coming prepared with the information on the home. You have the MLS cut sheet, you have quick facts on hand, the property disclosure. This is one that I don't think a lot of, I mean, maybe they do and I'm just unaware, but I don't think a lot of agents are looking at the disclosures prior to selling a house. But like having that printed and knowing, being able to say, hey, the roof was replaced in this year, the HVAC is this year, like these are the little things about the house. They make you more valuable as well. They
Hmm.
wouldn't have had that information had you not been there to provide it. And that probably layers on to the fact that they see you as now a resource as opposed to just an indisposable or disposable one of those person who's just standing by.
Sure, 100%. And something one of my colleagues actually just put me onto is because he was out of town and he's the number one agent on our team and he's just a year ahead of me. He's 3 years in and he'll send the papers via text like before the appointment is even confirmed to allow them, like, still do everything that I said, but send them to the clients to allow them to review beforehand. Because and a lot of times the MLS will have a floor plan, and so that's very important to clients too. And if you just sometimes you can avoid, going out to a house and a showing just by these documents. There might be something in there that clients pick out like, oh, okay, this one won't work at all. And then, but then you're even more valuable too, right? Because I saved you time, I saved myself time. Okay, what was it about that doesn't work? Okay, let me go find something that doesn't have that or does have what this one's missing.
So then what do you find works, or what do you find usually happens after you show them that first house? You've introduced yourself as a valuable, knowledgeable agent, and then you ask them if they have time for, to see another house nearby that's similar in square footage or, whatever else. Do they typically have time to see another property? And if so, do you go see it right then and there? Or do you make an appointment? Do you like part ways? And then what is your follow up like?
Yeah, most clients really do just want to see that one particular property and did just pick out the time for that. Like a lot of people will call on the same day or the day before, right? So, and a lot of time with Zillow and all the resources that people have, like they're caught up on the market and all the inventory. A lot of times you're not going to send them something that they haven't already seen. So most times it is just the one property. If they call on like a Monday and I'm showing them Saturday, most times there actually will be one or two that pop up. Now, if we do part ways, I mean, you have to stay on top of them. So it's just sending them properties. I mean, the main tool that I use will be the MLS and just setting up like a safe search for people, whether they whether their criteria is clear to me or not. I just want emails going to them and my name popping up on a daily basis.
What other follow up do you do? So the MLS, will ping them and we'll have your name. So excited, John remembered me. But what other follow up do you have in place?
Really just texting and calling. So, and like I'll have times in my office, it's almost like every other day I'm just going through my text messages. So just scrolling backwards and then it's like, oh, this person, that person, like because once if you have a steady inbound lead flow, it's it could get, there's a lot of stuff that does fall through your fingers and slip through the cracks. So you've got to have some kind of system in place. And me scrolling through my text messages probably isn't the best one, but it's working somewhat.
It's better than having none.
Yeah. So do you have a CRM or do you use a CRM?
We do have one. We do. And
Okay.
I do use it, but could definitely be better.
Sure.
About my CRM usage. Yeah.
Are you comfortable with role playing, John?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Because everyone else says that they're okay with it and then they end up not role playing. So don't leave me hanging.
Okay, let's do it. Come on.
Okay. Pretend I was, someone that called day of, I'm outside the house. You showed me the house, but also I could be working with other agents too, right? Like you're just a door opener for me at this point. So
Sure.
You showed me a house. Say I halfway liked it, whatever, not enough to place an offer. And then, so you're reaching out to me.
Okay. Hey, Allie, how's it going? This is John with Stephen Cooley Real Estate. I showed you that house just over the weekend. I know you said you were going to go home and think about it a little bit. Where are you guys currently at with that?
Oh yeah. So I actually saw like a couple of houses. Which house was this again?
This was the one on Main Street. You don't remember? The one with the nice 2-story foyer, the beautiful backyard fenced in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I don't really want to place an offer on that house.
Okay. Hey, I definitely understand. What was it about that particular property that made you rule it out?
I think it's the location. I want to be closer to my kids' schools.
Okay. And what schools are those?
It's school XYZ.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's truly a wonderful school system. And how close are you guys hoping to be to that school?
I want them to be able to walk. So 5 minutes walking.
Okay. Okay. So like a half mile about. That sounds good.
Sure. We'll make my kids walk half mile. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So if I was to find you a couple other options that are closer to the school and meet all your other criteria, would you be willing to work with me as far as buying one of those properties if one of them really checked all the boxes?
Yeah, I mean, if one checked all the boxes, then yeah. I also do have a couple of other realtors that are sending me home. So whichever realtor can find me the house, then I'll work with them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I really even appreciate the opportunity to work with you. And as I went over when I met you, we are the number one team here in the greater Charlotte area. I am a top 5 agent on this team, and I'm ready to fight to find you that best property. So you could go ahead and text these other real estate agents to go ahead and strap up because I'm bringing my A game. So let them know they gotta come prepared because I'm ready to play ball. Okay.
I like that. No other agent has said that.
Sorry.
What makes you the number one team? What's number one?
So we quite legitimately have closed the most volume and the most units here in our entire MLS. So it's not just the greater Charlotte area. Our MLS goes as west as Asheville. So just entirely nobody has topped our numbers.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll continue looking around and yeah, if there's anything that you show me that I like, yeah, let's go take a look.
Awesome. That sounds great, Allie. I really appreciate your time again. And thank you so much for even answering the phone. A lot of people, they decided against a house and they'll just say, hey, I'm never going to talk to that guy again. So I can tell that you're passionate about buying a house and finding one close to the school for your daughters. And I promise I'm going to do my best job to find you that property and get you the best deal. Now, as you know, this is a very popular school system. So it's really important that we're the first ones in the door when that right property shows up. So I'm going to be doing my job as far as sending you the properties. And as long as you're available and you're looking at these properties, it will be worth both of our times. And I promise we're going to find you a house. I can't promise it's going to be this week. It's going to be next week, but we will find you a house. And I promise I'm not going to go too long without you hearing from me. Okay. If we're talking about a 5-minute walk to one of the most popular schools, I don't know that that's going to pop up anytime soon, but you'll be hearing from me and we're going to find you the right house. Okay, Allie?
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, John. Dude, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Dude, he's a machine.
Yeah, you can tell you've done this at least once. So, for
We used
sure.
to lots of times. Dude, I loved
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you swooped right in when in the beginning when you were like, I totally understand. What was it about that house that what because it's like pulling out the information to
Hmm.
continue filing away the information of what they're looking for. Smooth.
Yeah, you've got to find, like, I guess the pain points, right? Is
Mhm.
the main concept in selling. You got to find that motivation. Okay, why was it not this house? And also, with Allie being interested in talking to other agents, are you open to working with me? Like, hey, I'm also still trying to protect my time. If Allie was to tell me, like, this is my sister's boyfriend, and he's going to hate me if I don't, I'm going to ruin our family. Work with your sister's boyfriend. That's completely okay. But yeah, finding, just, is there a possibility to work together? Okay. And then I'm just trying to get as crystal clear as possible as far as what that product needs to look like for Allie to buy it.
Yo, real quick, this podcast is not free. Cost of admission is sharing with a buddy who'd benefit or throwing it on your Instagram story. Tag us, we'll reshare that shit.
I also want to talk about the promises. You use the P word twice in that like last closing sentence, which a lot of realtors are too scared to do because who knows, you left it, that for that specific scenario, you left the time open-ended because who knows when a property is going to pop up within
Mhm.
that meets my criteria. When did you start using the word promise? Because as a client, I'm sure you love to hear that, but also can they deliver on that? But that I'm sure that makes you stand out. How do you always use that word, or do you only do it when you know it's open ended enough? Like, talk more about the word promise.
Yeah, it's true, right? I know your criteria. We can look back this past year, and if we went through every single house, like, there are homes that have sold that meet your criteria that you would have moved on. So it's quite frankly the case that a house will pop up, and I'm going to do my job to make sure when it does pop up. So I'm just speaking literally that, okay, like, I'm going to do my part. I promise you that. It's my obligation to myself and to you. So I also think that when somebody is talking to other agents, you need to be bold. I think it's smart to be bold either way, right? To get fired up. I like being fired up. I think it adds to the experience and it adds excitement. Like, you need to separate yourself. And I think also, like, just pumping energy into it, I think shows to give you results.
Yeah, I think my favorite part, and I wrote down pretty much everything you were saying when you guys were role playing. So like I'm looking at all of them, and there's quite a few nuggets in there. But my favorite line is when you were like, "Go ahead and strap up," like you're about to come out come out the other agents, like tell them to strap up and stuff. Like I was like, that's perfect because it shows personality, and those other robot type of agents were the ones who are a little more timid to like showcase personality. Like that's what I would remember.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one I kind of pulled out of my back pocket. So,
Just for us. Dude, implement it, do that. But actually,
mhm.
we're at like the perfect time to talk about your golden nugget too. So, guys, as you know, guests on the show update or they upload a golden nugget for all of you guys to steal in the agentgoldmine.com. Make sure you go and check it out. But John, your golden nugget is a little bit of a script. Do you want to talk us through it?
Mhm. Yeah, first off, I would just like to make a recommendation. I feel like when we get to this golden nugget point of the podcast, like, maybe you guys should, like, sing something, and then on my screen you're like right next to each other, so maybe like a little high five, like golden nugget, you know? I like it. My golden nugget is for sellers and buyers that have ghosted you. So just learned this one like 2 weeks ago, and it's just a text slash email script wherever you're doing more communication with the client. And it's, hey, Allie, dot, dot, dot. I've tried reaching out, dot, dot, dot. Have you given up on buying that house in walking distance to Audrey Kell High School? And the idea behind it is that people do not want to see themselves as somebody that gives up on something. And we've gotten a lot of replies. So the entire team, we just sent this out to the entire team just this past week, and everybody's just emailing and texting like, oh my gosh, like, we're getting so many replies. And it doesn't have to, the expectation isn't that everybody's going to come out and be like, no, I've been super busy. Like, I'll be ready in like a month or two, but really just to get something. When you're reaching out to somebody time after time after time again, and it's almost, it gets to the point where it's repetitive. It's like, hey, have you seen this house that I sent you? Like, what do you think of this one? And you're coming at them with the same thing. It's to switch it up and actually get a reply from them, like an update, like, hey, if Allie did buy a house with one of those other real estate agents, like, I at least want to know, like, let me know so I can jot that down and follow up accordingly.
So at what point do you send out this script, this text? Like how long after I've ghosted you do you send this out? What have you said prior to that? How many times have you tried attempting to contact me where I don't respond? Define ghosting, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So a good metric to go off of is a sale will happen within 7 to 12 contacts. So I would say once you get past that 12 mark, and let's say somebody hasn't replied in, I guess it just goes case by case scenario. I don't have like a set formula. It's more of something that it's like, I'll go through and I'll see that I've tried somebody X amount of times. They haven't replied in a while, and I'll send it out. But it would be good to lock down a for sure formula for it.
And each client is different too. Like you said, I might be ready to go as soon as a property, comes up that fits my criteria. Other people are still saving for a down payment, whatever it is. So that I think is the biggest reason to like use a CRM. So that way you could be like, hey, what was their goal before they purchased? Oh, they probably by now have saved up for that down payment, whatever it is. Use your CRM, John. You got it.
Dude, she's
I know.
I'm coming at you, bro.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, John.
I need to get challenged. I'm too old school. It's like the paper, pen, the planner. I need to get with the times. Come on, John.
I think it's funny because knowing you from like the meetup, so like you look at Allie right now, she's in a tie-dyed t-shirt, a backwards hat, whatever. Like, I'm usually somewhere around that realm. And then there's John, who every single time shows up exactly like he is right now with his like coat jacket and his button up and his name tape. And in my head and back, I used to be like, ugh, not for you, John, but like for agents in general, I'll be like, John, but you rock it somehow, like with the whole style, you embrace it, that old man energy, and I guess it carries across all platforms here.
Oh no.
It's funny because you're like 24, aren't you?
I'm 28. I just turned 28.
Oh, I thought you were a baby child. You're like a teenager.
Could I give another golden nugget? Could I go deuces on the golden nugget?
Golden nugget.
Listen, we all just high-fived through across this time and space.
Allie,
yeah, John hit us.
Top. This is the Brady Bunch.
Come on. I love that. Oh, so these suits are actually, and I need to get a freaking brand deal for these things. But so they're stretchy suits and they're machine washable. So big time golden nugget.
Wow.
Yeah, I save thousands on dry cleaning just because I'll rock. I've actually got 2 of these now. So we've done well enough to get another suit. Thank God. And so I've got 2 of them. I'll wear this like 2 to 3 days, throw it in the wash, dry it overnight, and then wear the other one. Like, I've got down pat. Like, I don't even need a CRM to keep up with my suit washing cycle. Like, we're just locked in.
Oh my gosh. So name of the brand. What is this brand of suit?
It's State and Liberty. And they're affordable too, like $5.50. I think this one was.
Is this online or specific to Charlotte?
Online.
Cool.
They fit really well. Like, dude,
That's
I
cool.
could go and hoop in this thing. I could route somebody up. Like, I mean, I'm like, I can do anything in this suit. So
That is
just know,
possibly the best golden nugget that we've ever gotten.
just know I'm ready at all times.
Okay, John, I have one more real estate-ish question before we go into like what the future holds. Okay, so it sounds like you're working a lot with buyers, and I know Charlotte is still a competitive market. And I was hoping that you could walk us through how and when in the timeline you manage expectations of your clients for inspections and repair requests.
Yeah, for sure. So as soon as we're at the house and they tell me that they want to make an offer, I give them the complete lowdown of the entire process. So I explain whether it's North or South Carolina, I explain earnest money and due diligence fee, which is a termination fee in South Carolina, the main terms of the contract. And then I'll go into in both North and South Carolina, they're due diligence contracts. So that due diligence period is technically an inspection period where you get all the inspections that you want. You're able to request repairs, but really you're buying the house as is. The seller isn't obligated to make any repairs. And then depending on their response, your earnest money is protected in that period. So if something comes up on the inspection report that us and the sellers can't figure out, you're going to back out of the contract. You'll pay your termination fee in South Carolina. Due diligence in North Carolina is paid upfront to the seller and non-refundable. So you do lose that money in a North Carolina contract. But your earnest money is protected in both.
Okay, yeah, that's totally, it was that one sentence in there where you were talking about they're really like the buyer is buying the property as is and the seller is not obligated to make any repairs. That's kind of what I was curious about, especially since I think that there's a lot of times the expectation like that isn't made up front, and the buyer will just go in with the expectation of the home inspection comes back and I can just ask for everything on the inspection. So if I'm your buyer and I'm like, no, like I want to ask for all these things. Like, what do you tell me?
I say, let's do it. I say, let's do it. Honestly, like I have been, you gotta, as an agent, you kind of have to get out of your own way sometimes because, for me, it's super stressful when a buyer sends me like 40 things on a list. And I'll try to I'll want to talk them out of it. But then I've had enough experiences of like sellers agreeing to X amount of repairs that I would have never expected, right? It's almost easier. And you could see it like it's easier to negotiate the really important stuff if you ask for too much upfront. Now, buyers, I am not at all making that recommendation to ask for everything under the sun that comes up on the inspection report. I truly believe that you should just request the stuff that is really important. And I do tell my buyers that. And then I assume that what they do send me is very important to them. And I will make that request and then really just handle the negotiations from there.
My dad told me growing up, he would say, Shelby, the answer is always no unless you ask. And it sounds like that's kind of like what you do with your clients. And I live by that to this day. And I get so much free because of it.
I swear.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
110%.
John, what did we miss? What is words of wisdom that you have out there? Maybe a new agent who's just starting out, hit us.
Yeah. New agent that's just starting out. I would say it's smart to join a team to get leads coming your way. I mean, the most important thing is your phone ringing, right? And people that want to talk about real estate. So you shouldn't be so picky about the people that you go and show a house to. You shouldn't be so picky about the conversations that you're having, right? If it's $120,000 trailer versus the, $1 million, that golden number, right? The $1 million sale. But really, I would recommend joining a team. And no matter what you do, though, like you just gotta talk to a lot of people about real estate. I think real estate as a career is such a cool thing because it coincides with personal development so well, right? My emotional intelligence has grown over the past 18 months that more than the previous 26 years of my life. Like I've been put in so many hard situations, and you just kind of, you got to stick it out, represent your client's best interest. That is your job in the contract, and have fun with it.
Apple listeners, this short pause is to ask you for a review. Here's how to do it. Back out of the specific episode, go to the page where you see all the episodes, scroll down, keep scrolling. Perfect. Now tap those 5 stars. Thank you so much. Back to the show.
John, we're going to hit you with some wrap-up questions. Number 1, what is your favorite app or tool?
Favorite app or tool is going to be the MLS. So setting your clients up on that save search, they're going to get it until they don't open it in like 30 days. And then guess what? You set them up again, and you set them up again, and you hit them with the, hey, Allie, ... I've reached out multiple times, ... Have you given up, Allie? Have you given up on me? What happened, Allie? Thought we had something special.
I love this so much. I love this. Okay. And question number 2. I loved it so much. I forgot my question number 2.
Come on.
What events are you going to this year, John?
I'm going to Italy next month. So
Ooh.
no specific. I'm going to a wedding out there. My girlfriend's cousin's getting married. So really just, I'm going to make that an event. I'm going to be passing out my cards. I'm going to say John Holzer, Homes with Holes. That's my IG. That's my tag. Homes with Holes. Me, John Holzer, not homes with holes in them. Even though
Got it.
homes
Was about to clarify.
Same.
but all homes do have holes in them, right? Your door, your window, they are crucial to the structure of the property, just like I am to you buying the property.
Dude, Allie, I can't. Ooh, we got a poet in the house. We just spit in bars.
But events, I'm going to Pints and Properties. So
Tonight,
the best
you gonna be there?
real estate meetup in all of the entire
world?
nation.
Okay,
the
thank you.
nation, man.
That is what I thought. Okay,
Mhm.
John, remind everyone where they can send you referrals.
Yeah, so my email is john.holzer@stephencooley.com. You could also just call or text me. My phone number is 919-802-8329. Once again, that's 919-802-8329. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, I love that you did that in a late night DJ radio voice. But when I said remind people where to send you referrals, I meant your location. So can you also say that? Which was really helpful. We needed that. But what location? Where are you?
Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm licensed in North and South Carolina. So this entire greater Charlotte area. So I actually live in Fort Mill myself, work all the way down to Rock Hill, Chester, Lancaster. And then I go as north as like Concord, but I am a road warrior, as Shelby stated. So, I mean, I'll go Mooresville. I will. And when I'm up there, I will get some Bay's burgers. Best burger in all of Charlotte. I swear to God, Bay's burgers.
In your suit that you can just drip on it and then just throw it in the wash later.
Throw it in the wash. Hey, hose me down, send me back to work.
I love you. This is great. So if you want to
guys.
follow more of his shenanigans, follow him on social media. The link will also be in our show notes. If you want to follow us, as always, we're Allie the Agent. We're the Shelby Show. Hit us up with some feedback. We are looking for feedback. We're not looking for compliments, although those are nice too, but we're looking for ways to improve. John is looking for a high five right now, so here we go. If you want us to start singing some Golden Nugget, dude, we're here for any feedback. Just hit us up. So, and if you have enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed John's personality, share the show with your friend who needs a little bit of enthusiasm in their life. Be a bro, share the show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening, dude. If you want the golden nugget that this guest provided, see the show notes or just go straight to theagentgoldmine.com. That's where we keep all our resources for you. Till next time.